Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Two Bros, One Pod. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about the World Cup. So let's just get right into it. World Cup edition, episode 3. Let's get it.
Let's do it, baby.
What's up, bro?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Pretty well. A little happy, a little sad, after what happened this weekend.
Yeah, no, listen, I'm excited to do this episode. I've been looking forward to it, but yes, I'm also upset to say the least. Over what happened on Saturday, but we'll talk about that a little later. We'll definitely get to it because there's a lot to talk about.
Sure.
But
for sure. But you know what? Let's just focus on what the episode is truly about, right? On the World Cup. Not only are we going to talk about the World Cup, but we're also going to do a little, I guess, out of all the teams that didn't make it to the World Cup, we're going to come up with our starting 11.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be fun for everybody listening. But before we get to that, I wanted to ask you a little question because, with all the rumors that Mbappe is gonna, that he signed again with PSG and stuff, and that he's not coming to Madrid.
Well, it's not a rumor; it's official.
Well, right. Man, I wish it was still a rumor. But anyway, so I have a quick question for you.
What's
right? Let's say you're Florentino Perez.
Okay.
Again, Mbappe, he just rejected to come to the club.
Mm-hmm.
Haaland has just signed with Manchester City.
Mm-hmm.
Rumors are heating up that Lewandowski is going to go to Barca.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you sign?
Well, the first thing I do if I'm Florentino Perez, I go out there and I admit that Barcelona is the bigger club. But let me say this on a real note. I know what you asked me in terms of a striker, but I will say this: there's a rumor coming.
Or no, not even as a striker. Just what would you do? You're Florentino Perez. Who will you sign?
Well, I will say this: yes, as a club, it would suck to miss out on Mbappe. Like, it's the biggest name. Him and Haaland will probably fight for the best player in the world a few years' time once Messi and Ronaldo are officially over. We're starting to get to that part where Messi and Ronaldo just aren't there anymore. But once they're really, really gone, because just by name, they're still going to be in the talk. But once they're really, really gone, that's when I feel like Mbappe, Haaland, they're going to officially take it. So I understand why it's upsetting to miss out. But I will say this: one thing that he's doing right now, I think, is phenomenal. He's signing this player, Tchouaméni. I think that's how you say it. From Monaco, a center defensive mid who could also play the 8. I think that's a phenomenal signing. If the rumors are true, I think it will happen, unfortunately. But
bro, that's literally the future of our midfield.
You're replacing Casemiro
right there
with him. You're replacing, again, like I said in the first episode, they're not exactly the same level, but if we're thinking position for position, you're replacing Kroos for Camavinga, sorry. Now you need that little Modric replacement, which could be Valverde, but
I think it is.
Yeah, but it's not the same role. You know what I mean? The problem I have with those three, as great as they are, all three of them are very more to the defensive side. Like,
right.
Like, yes, they can attack, but they're more defensive, right? But I'm getting out of it. What I'm saying is, I think it's a great signing if it happens to many. But now I think, you have Vinicius, you have Rodrigo, who should, in my opinion, start. I know there was rumors of Rodrigo possibly leaving. I think that would be terrible business for Madrid. Like, if you guys sell him, I understand the money's probably going to be good and all that. But if you sell him, I think that's a bad piece of business. Now, looking at Benzema, he just had a stellar year. He's probably going to win the Ballon d'Or. With that being said, though, I do think you need to find a number 9. Now, I would not rush it. Benzema could probably do it for you for another year or two, at least 2, I would say. So I would take my time. Mbappe only signed, I think it was a 2 or 3 year contract. So if you guys will forgive him, I guess you could say, you guys could sign him in a few years' time. So I wouldn't rush. I think what Florentino's doing, I hate to say it, is really smart. He's not panicking. I know a lot of clubs be like, oh my God, Mbappe just rejected us. What do we do? We have to sign somebody.
Right.
No, you don't. You have Benzema. I said it before. I've said it. Even if you did sign Mbappe this summer, where was he going to play? You're not benching Benzema. You're not benching Vinicius, most likely. You're going to throw him on the right side where he doesn't feel comfortable, where he doesn't want to play. I'm telling you,
still have Hazard that could potentially some way come back to form.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like, Mbappe, I do think Mbappe chose PSG now because, for right now, why did he only sign a 2 or 3 year contract instead of a 5, 6? Because he said, you know what? Benzema's still there. Benzema's probably going to take 2 or 3 more years off as a striker. Like, I understand that. I do not want to play on the wings. I do not want to play second fiddle. I want to be the star. I think that he's never going to admit that, but that's what I think. So I think in a way he did the right move, staying with PSG a couple of years, seeing if they could win the Champions League, and then going to Madrid. Because again, I don't think he would have been a good fit on the wings. he could make it work, of course, but he doesn't want to. And you guys would kind of be wasting him there. I know he could still do a good job, but he's definitely a 9. So I think what Florentino's doing, again, I hate to admit it, but he's doing a really good job. He's not panicking. He said, okay, fine, you're not coming. We could deal with Benzema. We could deal with Vinicius. Hopefully Rodrigo. Let's
Right.
bring in Tchouaméni. Start thinking about how do we replace Kroos? How do we replace Modric? Modric just signed a 1-year contract after the Champions League final. He renewed for another year. So now it's like, okay, 1 more year of Modric. Kroos also getting to his tail end. I know Casemiro could probably hold on a little longer, but you don't want to let an opportunity like this pass up. Tchouaméni is a player that I know if Real Madrid didn't go after him. Matter of fact, I know teams are still doing it, but if everybody waited 1 more year, every big club in the world would want him.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm telling you right now, if Barca had the economic power, they'd be going after him because he's the perfect Busquets replacement. I've seen him play for Monaco, and he is phenomenal. I love the player. So I think it's a good piece of business. One of the things I would say, I think you guys really need to work on, since since Marcelo's leaving, I would sign a better left back because I think Mendy has been a flop since he joined Madrid. After all the hype that he had in Lyon. So that's what I would do as Florentino. I'd get another left back. I'd sign a third center back and Tchouaméni. I'd make sure that happens. If I can't get a striker,
Rudiger might come.
Rudiger's coming. You're right. Actually, sorry. Yeah. So that's actually a perfect signing right there. Alaba, Militao, Rudiger, perfect. It's just a matter of not panicking up top. Like Benzema still has at least another top year in him. I would say 2. So I wouldn't panic. I'd be like, you know what? Fine, we can rock with Benzema for now, and we'll see what happens down the line. But again, in terms of strikers, I wouldn't go crazy. I think you guys are good when it comes to Benzema. If I'm Florentino, I'm thinking, you know what? We're good right now. We don't need to worry about this. Like, we got Benzema. We're fine. All right. Give it another year. See what happens.
All right, cool. Well, now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about the World Cup. Yes, all right. Sir, obviously, right now is when we start getting the bug for like World Cup would be right around the corner. Sadly, it's gonna be in the winter this year. So I say, you know what? Let's just go ahead and give our predictions of who we think is going to advance from each group.
Yeah. All right. We could kind of do like what we did with the NFC rankings last week. Way too early. Obviously, we're still less than 200 days away, but still pretty far away from the World Cup. So I think as we get closer, when we know the official squads, God forbid any injuries, things like that.
Right.
Once we know all that, that's when we can kind of get into, all right, you know what? Now that we know the groups, now that we know the squads, like this is what we think is going to happen game by game. So we could get a little bit more detailed, yes, later on. So Group A, I'm looking at it right now. It just in the order that they have it. It's Ecuador, Netherlands, Qatar, Senegal. Qatar, just for the people that don't know, the host nation. They are hosting the 2022 World Cup. Reason why it's being held in the winter is because right now in Qatar is blazing hot. Like you couldn't even play. I heard that in the winter, if I'm not mistaken, even though it gets warmer, cooler, they still gonna have ACs in the stadium. That's ridiculous to me.
I think the stadiums are gonna be closed.
Yeah, they're gonna be closed.
It's still like 120 degrees.
Yeah, closed and AC. That's ridiculous, man.
That's crazy.
But besides the point, that's all I want to say about Qatar. Host nation. They're in Group A for that reason with Ecuador, Netherlands, and Senegal. What do you think happens in that group?
Okay, well, to a lot of people, this might come as a surprise, but I have Ecuador winning the group.
Wow. Okay, starting off hot. Let's go.
I have Ecuador winning the group. Just because I've seen what they've done in the qualifiers in South America. And as you all know, I'm Colombian, you're Colombian. So we kind of know a little bit too much from those South American teams. So from what I've seen from them, I think Ecuador will win the group and Netherlands will come in a very close second. I think Ecuador, I think Ecuador will be the surprise of the group for sure.
Interesting. Now, do you see Senegal at all making a challenge? Qatar maybe, or you
no?
See it as like those
Qatar, honestly, I don't see them getting a single point. To be honest, they're the host nation, and host nations are very, not crucial, but very. Somehow they always make an impact.
Yeah.
And so I don't think Qatar will be that type of host nation for this World Cup. It's not going to happen. I think they're going to go with 0 points. Senegal, I think, will be right up there. It's definitely for sure between those three, Ecuador, Netherlands, and Senegal. But in my eyes, in my opinion, I see Ecuador and Netherlands advancing from that group.
Wow, well, that's interesting.
Yeah. What do you think?
I'll say this. We share a few similar thoughts. I think Qatar end up winning. I'll be nice. I'll give them 1 point.
No way.
I'll give them.
No.
I'll give them 1 point.
Who are they going? Who are they going to tie with?
Senegal, maybe. I don't know.
Bro, you mean the African champions? That team?
I know.
Oh,
But like,
okay.
it's Qatar. Like, there's gonna be somehow, some way. Let's be real. We all know there's a little some going on there. They're gonna get that point. You never know. Maybe it comes down to the last game where every place is decided, and the team's like, you know what? They're the host nation. Let's not let them leave with a point.
To be honest, it's gonna come down to the last game for these other three teams. So I don't see anybody going easy on Qatar.
It's a possibility. But like I said, I just want to be.
I mean, hey, we could be wrong, and Qatar could finish first.
Come on now. I'm trying to be nice. I'm not trying to be exaggerated. Okay, I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to give them a point, regardless whether it's a point, 2 points, 0 points. I see them ending up last. Third place was hard for me. First place was easy. I got Netherlands. Like, I know about Ecuador, but I've also seen Netherlands, and I'm really impressed. When I think about it, the Euros that just happened, I really thought Netherlands was gonna win.
Yeah.
When I saw them play, I think they had a really bad day. That first, I think it was around 16 against Czech Republic. They were unlucky with a couple shots, and the league got a red card early on, and they lost. But I really like what I see from Netherlands. I really, really do. They've always impressed me. I know they lost early in the qualifiers to Turkey 3-0, and I was like, wow, maybe I'm overhyping them.
Yeah.
But then they killed Turkey again. Like, when they played Turkey the second time, they beat them easily. So I don't know. I just see Netherlands ending up first. I see Ecuador and Senegal is such a tight race for me because of what you said. I've seen Ecuador. They look really, really good. Senegal's the African Cup of Nations. They have Sadio Mane, who might be joining a new club. And
they have Mendy in the goal.
They have Mendy in goal. It's tough. Koulibaly in the back. It's tough. Yes. It's tough. But I went with Ecuador as well. I got Ecuador second place. I think they just edge Senegal. Like, literally, it would have shocked me if Senegal ends up second. But I think they edged them out just by the slimmest of margins. I got Ecuador advancing. I think they have a lot of young, promising potential. They have a good coach. The only thing that scares me about Ecuador, and it always has, is their goalkeeping situation. Their goalkeeper is hit or miss. So I don't know. But I just got Ecuador there. I think Ecuador takes it. But Netherlands, to me, first place, 9 points.
You got them winning all three games.
Yeah, I got Netherlands winning all games. We'll go into depth with that later on, but I think Netherlands goes out of there easy. They're not easy in the sense of like they're gonna kill every team.
Right.
They're gonna get all three wins. They're gonna struggle with Ecuador and Senegal, but they'll win. And then second place, I got Ecuador over Senegal.
Okay, nice. Let's move on to Group B.
Go ahead, let's do it.
So you got, this was a little tricky. We can't really say for sure because you still got three teams fighting for that playoff spot to join Group B, which is so you have for sure the three teams that are in. And I'm not saying it, I'm gonna just say it in any order. You got Iran, England, and USA. And for that fourth spot, you have either Wales, Scotland, or Ukraine.
Right.
So for this, I want you to give me your two teams that are gonna advance. Obviously, Iran, wherever you think they're going to be, you might have them as advancing. And I want you to give me the team that you think is going to make it to Group B.
Okay, well, let's start with the team that I think is going to make it a Group B. Okay. So we all know what's going on in Ukraine right now, unfortunately, political issues that we don't want to get too much into, but, it's a sad situation. But regardless, from those three teams, the team that I see strongest is Ukraine. It's just where their heads are at. I don't know if they'll be on their game whenever they play. So I'm going to say that the team that advances is Wales. I'm going to go with Wales. I like what I've seen from them. Gareth Bale, when he plays for Wales, turns into like prime Ronaldinho or something. I don't know. Yeah. But the man's a beast. They have a pretty decent squad. Aaron Ramsey, Daniel James, Harry Wilson. Decent squad. I like Scotland. They have Andrew Robertson, Kieran Tierney, but I got Wales. I think Wales makes that group, and it becomes interesting because it's England versus Wales. I think that's going to be an interesting piece. But nonetheless, I got Iran last place.
Okay.
I got Wales fighting USA for second. I got England first place.
Okay.
And I got USA second. USA second. Again, just like Ecuador, Senegal, I think a little tight. It's not going to be the easiest things to do for USA. But that USA squad is so young, so promising, so talented. The coach is really, really interesting to look at. He knows how to change his tactics up based on opponents. I like what he does. I think the USA have a slight edge over Wales. So I got I got it like that. I got England, USA, Wales, Iran. What
All
about you?
right. Well, we agree to disagree again, just like in Group A. We just
Okay.
have the teams flopped. I have
Okay.
USA winning the group.
Wow. Okay.
I have USA winning the group. I have the biggest chokers of them all, England being second. I have, honestly, it could be between Scott. For me, I don't think Ukraine makes it. Honestly, I think the pressure of them, carrying all that burden on their back, trying to get
Right.
Ukraine, to get to the World Cup. I don't think it happens.
Right.
So I would love for them to make it and be that third team, and be like a Cinderella story. But I don't see it happening. Um, Obviously I have Iran fourth, but I do have USA going first over England. Why? Because everything you said about USA, they're a young, promising team, but I just feel like they're hungry. They want to go out there and make a statement. And it's like, what better way than to make a statement than against England?
That is very true.
And they have that, it can happen because again, England has choked constantly. They have a great team, but somehow there's always something that happens that they just can't seem to get right.
Yep.
And I feel like USA can be that team. I mean, I don't know. I still haven't really looked into the points. Looking at the group now, they could end up with the same points, but I still think USA edges them out.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, I would be happy. I'd be happy to see that,
Yeah.
but I don't know. Like, hey, but that's interesting, man. I did not see that coming. I'll tell you the truth. I did not see it coming.
Back to back groups.
Group C now.
Okay.
Again, the order that I just see it. It's not my order, but Argentina.
Oh, that's definitely your order.
Mexico, Poland, Saudi Arabia. Talk to me.
Okay. For sure, Messi will not be able to carry Argentina. Argentina will go home within the first 3 games. Okay, they're done.
You don't even believe that.
I don't.
You don't even believe
Argentina
that.
will win the group. Argentina will win the group. I say Mexico finished second, competing with Poland, because obviously Lewandowski, you can never rule him out. But I feel like that's the only thing they got, to be honest. I feel like Mexico, those guys are warriors, man. Those guys will go out there and they'll, they believe that they can win that group.
Yeah.
And any little spark that they can find, they carry that and they just take it all the way. And just by them knowing that Argentina, Messi is in their group, they're gonna want to go out there and show them, just like they beat Germany. They're gonna try in a previous World Cup to leave them in the group stage. They're gonna try to go and do the same thing with Argentina. However, I don't think it happens. I think Argentina wins the group and Mexico finishes second. Poland finishes third. It could be close behind Mexico, but Saudi Arabia is the definite 0 points for me, dead last.
I agree with your order. It's the first group we're going to agree on for now. I do have Saudi Arabia last.
Took
I do have Argentina
three
first.
tries.
It took 3 tries, but again, that's the beauty of soccer. Like you could disagree and have different orders, but at the end of the day, think about it. We've disagreed in our orders the first 2 groups. We have the same 2 teams advancing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
All right.
It's beautiful, but I do have Saudi Arabia last. I have Argentina first. Mexico and Poland to me also is like a little fight. It's interesting to me. The first 3 groups I've had second and third. It's kind of a fight for me.
Yeah.
But this I would say is, I don't want to say it's not the closest because we can't disrespect Poland because like you said, they have Lewandowski. And I remember the Euros, again, going back to that, I believe they tied or they beat Spain. And they made it really hard for Spain in the group. So I can't disrespect them. They have a decent group. They have Fabianski at goal.
Yeah.
They have a couple good players. Nothing out of this world, but a couple good players. And I think they fight with Mexico for it. But at the end of the day, I just got Mexico over them. I guess that not as hard as USA versus for me, Wales or Ecuador, Senegal. But I do have Mexico beating Poland, just edging them out. And yeah, that's just how it is for me.
That's not bad. That's fair. All right. We got Group D now. So you got Tunisia, you got Denmark, you got Peru, and you got France.
Well, hopefully Peru.
Well, yes. I see. Look, I mean, I already got them through. So
listen, I'm hoping you're right. Okay, I'm hoping you're right.
All right. So that's another playoff, right? So who do you got winning? Which 2 do you see advancing?
Well, I got Peru advancing first of all. I got Peru
Oh,
advancing over. No, I'm talking about like the qualifying match.
so you got them making the group.
So I see my group as like from how it's shown on mine: Denmark, France, Peru, Tunisia. That's how it shows on mine. The way I see that group heading out, I see France winning it. Like
Okay.
France, they're not the same. They're not. I don't see them as good. I remember when I saw the 2018 World Cup. You and I think we both said it before the World Cup. They're gonna win the World Cup, and we were right.
Yeah.
They look like a
I feel like it was obvious.
ridiculous team. Yeah, their team. That's a squad that you could split up into 3, maybe 4 starting 11s, and they'll all be ridiculous. Like,
Yeah.
you know. But besides the point, I don't think France is as strong anymore. I think teams have started to kind of catch on how they play, and France has lately tried too much to experiment like 3 backs and 5 backs, and it hasn't worked out. So I see them not as strong, but strong enough to win their group easily.
Okay.
Second place. Well, let's start with last place. I got Tunisia as last place.
Okay.
And then Denmark, Peru. Last World Cup, Peru was technically eliminated by Denmark because they beat them in the first game. Then Peru beat Australia in the last game, and then they should have tied against France, but they lost to France. I think Peru gets revenge. I think they eliminate Denmark, and I think Peru ends up second.
Really?
I really do. I really do. I saw something out of them this qualifiers that I haven't seen out of the 2018 qualifiers. Like when I saw the 2018 qualifiers, like they were good, but they didn't really have fight. This year they're good and they have a little bit of fight. So I really like them. I think they could go in with confidence. I think they're gonna go in with that mindset of like, yo, Denmark did this to us. We're gonna do it to them now. So I got Peru going second, France first.
Okay. All right. I like that. That's a hot take right there. That's nice.
It is.
So like you, I think France wins the group. I think
Yeah.
that's an obvious choice. I think they go, they win all 3 games. For me, I got last place, Tunisia.
Okay.
Now for that second place between Denmark and Peru. I do not agree with you. I think Peru get eliminated. I feel like Denmark, with Eriksen coming back, they have a nice little spark. That I think they kind of left like unfinished business in the Arrows. They were kind of like that Cinderella story, especially with what was going on with Eriksen. I think they continue that in the World Cup. So I think France advance and Denmark as well.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I really like what I saw from Denmark, especially like you said, after the Eriksen. That's your leader, that's your best player. And they played really well. They look like a really good team. They look united, is what they look like to me. So I think that continues. I see it as a tough fight. I do see it as a tough fight, but I don't know. I got to root for Peru for obvious reasons.
Of course.
Just know I'm gonna show what you just said. I'm gonna show that to a certain somebody, and they're not gonna be pleased. They're not gonna be pleased. But yeah, let's move on to Group E. So Group E, the way I have written down on my thing, so Costa Rica / New Zealand. That's the other playoff game.
Right.
Germany, Japan, and Spain. Before we get into this, I do want to say I remember watching the World Cup draw, when they started making these teams, I was like, oh my God, the group of death.
I know.
Spain, then Germany. I was like, oh my God,
I know
who's gonna come in here? And then, it's not.
And it was like,
yeah, it's not the worst, but to me, it's not a group of death. But we'll talk about that in a bit. Go ahead. Who do you got in Group E?
So in Group E, I got
first of all, who do you got advancing? Costa Rica or New Zealand?
Okay, between Costa Rica and New Zealand, I do got Costa Rica advancing.
Okay.
I must say, I do have Costa Rica advancing. I think they're a better team than New Zealand. And I think, you got key players that, again, in Keylor Navas, which if you don't have a good goalie, pretty much anything goes in.
I agree. Keylor Navas, key piece. Go ahead.
Yeah. All right. So I got Costa Rica in there. So now I got Japan last. I do have Japan last. I mean, they do have some, decent players, but still, I don't see them being better than Costa Rica. I see Costa Rica being third. And again, I think it's an obvious choice. I got Germany second and Spain first.
Okay.
I got Spain first.
Hey, listen. I do have Costa Rica advancing over New Zealand as well.
Okay. That's the last playoff, right?
That's the last playoff.
There's no more. It was just those 3.
Yeah. I have it a little different though.
Really?
Last place, I have Costa Rica.
Whoa.
So I do like Costa Rica a lot. Like you said, I do believe Keylor Navas was a key piece, but they've kind of become like an old team, relying on their old stars like Brian Reese,
Right.
Campbell, who barely
Okay.
plays now. Meanwhile, Japan, bro, something about Japan, it's not the easiest team to play against. Something about these Asian teams, man. They first of all, they run nonstop. They run all
It's
90 minutes.
insane.
They
It's
run
insane.
all 90
Their
minutes.
stamina is out of this world.
Also, keep in mind, we're talking 2018 again. Belgium was about 20 minutes away from being eliminated by Japan. Japan started off 2-0 on who? On Courtois, who this season has
Yeah,
probably been
true.
one of the best, if not the best goalkeepers in the world.
True.
2-0, and then Belgium, did their thing. Yeah, but I don't know. I see Japan, Costa Rica very evenly matched. I just give Japan the slight edge because of their ability to run all 90 minutes, their ability to be very well organized tactically. They respect their tactics. They respect their game plan. They know what they're after. They know their strengths. They know their weaknesses. So I just see Japan a little bit better than Costa Rica. Now, it wouldn't shock me if Costa Rica ends up third. I hope they do.
Yeah.
Because, got to support my Latin American countries as well. But, I got Costa Rica last, Japan third. Not like Costa Rica has 0 points and Japan has 6 or something. But,
Right.
but just maybe by goal difference, maybe 1 point. I don't know. I got Japan third. But I got Germany and Spain as well. Top 2. I got Spain first. And I got Germany second. Germany is a team that, will be looking for personal revenge after the last World Cup being eliminated in the group stage.
Yeah.
It would be insane if it happens again, but I don't think it does. But hey, last World Cup they got eliminated by who? Mexico. Where does Mexico play in terms of like the Continentals play spots? Costa Rica spot. Can Costa Rica do it? Who officially eliminated Germany last World Cup? The last game? Korea. Where they from?
Ooh.
Asia. Can Japan do it? I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't see it happening. But if history repeats itself, I do have Spain first. I think their squad is not as good as 2010, 2008, 2012. That Spain squad was absolutely ridiculous.
Yes.
But this team is really, really good. They have a lot of good players in every position. They have the best midfielder in the world in Pedri.
Relax.
They have a really good team. They have a really good young team mixed with some veterans.
Yeah.
Germany also very young because a lot of their like veterans have retired from international football. So I think it's gonna be an interesting match. Germany, Spain, I'm so excited for that game. I can't wait.
That game's gonna be good.
I do think I got Spain winning, but I do think the winner of that game ends up winning the group. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
I just got Spain winning, maybe like a 2-1 or 3-2.
I see it at 1-0, honestly.
Yeah,
I see the
I
game
could say
being like
1-0.
I see it. You know how a lot of games like they're very boring when they're 1-0. I see this game being
entertaining
almost like
1-0.
Yes. Very.
I see it. But let's not go too in depth with that. We'll save that for later episodes. But yes, I do got Spain. You got Spain. We both there's the same group except for the bottom. I got Costa Rica last. You got Japan last. So that's Group E.
All right. So now let's move on to Group F.
Mm-hmm.
Right. We got Group F, which is it's a very interesting group to me. All right. You got Canada, you got Morocco, you got Belgium, and you got Croatia. Now, I want you to tell me which two advance.
Belgium first. Belgium undefeated first. So second, I fought with.
Really?
Because I want to root for Canada.
Okay.
I really do. I like a lot of their players. Alphonso Davies, Jonathan David. I love Canada. But I just don't think they're enough to compete with Croatia. I think Croatia's experience, Croatia's skill, Croatia's everything about Croatia really will beat Canada. I know Canada ended up first in North America.
Undefeated, I think.
No, they played 14 games. They won 8. They tied 4. They lost 2.
Okay.
They tied actually with Mexico with 28 points, but their goal difference was 16. Mexico's was 9. So Canada ended up first. Very happy for them. And again, as much as I want to root for them, man, Croatia's too good of a team to say Canada out of nowhere is gonna pass them. Like if Canada ends up second, don't get me wrong, I'm be over the moon.
Yeah.
But I have Belgium first, undefeated, and I have Croatia second.
Okay.
And then I have Canada and I finish with Morocco.
Okay.
What about you?
All right. I also have Morocco last. I have Belgium, of course, winning the group.
Mm-hmm.
Easy. However, I do have Canada.
Okay.
Advancing.
All right. That's fine.
I do have Canada advancing over Croatia. I think pretty much what you were talking about Costa Rica. I think Croatia, it's an aging team. I mean, they still got Modric playing at an elite level, but I don't think he'll be able to carry this team to another final again.
No,
You know what I mean?
I
There's
don't think.
no way.
Yeah,
So I do think Canada advanced just because their team is very, I don't know. I really like their team.
yeah,
There's something about them, led by Jonathan David. You got, Davis in the back.
yeah.
So I do think Canada upset Croatia, and I think that's gonna be the game that defines it. That Canada versus Croatia game. So again, I feel like Luka won't be able to carry this team, and they do get eliminated.
That's interesting. I mean, look,
Yeah.
I agree with you. I do think they're also like a little Costa Rica. They're an aging team, but the difference between Costa Rica and Croatia to me is as old as both teams are, it's it's harder to get through Croatia's midfield. Like,
Yeah, I
yes, they're
agree.
old, but like Croatia's going to be smart enough to play with the ball. They're not going to play without it.
Right.
That's interesting. Listen, again, I fought with it myself. I was like, Canada or Croatia. I do agree. I think the winner of Canada or Croatia defines it. I think they both beat Morocco. I think they
Honestly, Morocco's good too, man. Morocco has some good players. They might get a point here and there.
They are, but the thing I see about Morocco, as good as Hakimi is, they don't have Ziyech anymore. Ziyech retired from international football. Now his mind can change now that the World Cup's coming, but he retired. I think something about like he felt disrespected, that he wasn't called up for them or
Yeah,
something like that. But
I think he goes.
I think he ends up
He
being like,
has to.
damn, this is a World Cup. I got
Exactly. Exactly.
But at the end of the day, I do think Morocco is a tough team, but not tough enough. I think Canada and Croatia are better. I think they both lose to Belgium. I think they both beat Morocco, and then that Canada-Croatia game, man, that's going to be the deciding factor. And I don't be shocked if they end up tied, Canada-Croatia,
Yeah.
and then it all goes on goal difference. That would not shock me at all.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's going to be an interesting group for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's move on to Group G. We're up to our last two groups now. We got in Group G, we got Brazil, we got Cameroon, we got Serbia, and we got Switzerland.
Okay.
What you got?
I have Serbia going last.
Ooh, okay.
Yes.
That's the first for me. That's the very first big shock. Okay, interesting.
I have Serbia going last.
Okay.
I have Brazil winning the group.
Yeah.
I think they go 3-0.
Yeah.
So that leaves me between Switzerland and Cameroon. I was very iffy about these two. I was swapping them constantly because I do think Cameroon can be a Cinderella story.
Could be.
But I got Switzerland advancing second place and Cameroon third. That's just the way I have it. I think Switzerland have, I guess, more experience. When it comes to again, Switzerland might be tied with Cameroon in points, but I feel like Brazil is going to destroy Cameroon, and it's just going to come down maybe to the goal differences. If it does get to that point, and they do end up with the same points, but I think it's an easy one. I think Brazil and Switzerland advance.
Hey, listen, I'll tell you this. That's pretty interesting to me. Honestly, I did not expect that. I have Brazil first as well, undefeated, 9 points. Wouldn't be shocked if they allow like one goal only.
Right.
I have Cameroon last. As good as Cameroon is, I know they're an underdog team, like you said, a Cinderella story team, but I don't think they're strong enough to pass Switzerland and Serbia. So I got them last. Now, second place, I fought between Serbia and Switzerland. Switzerland, to me, are an all-around better team. And I mean, they did eliminate France in the Euros, and they looked really good in the Euros. But Serbia, something about Serbia makes it so tough for every team they play against. Like, every team they play against. At the end of the day, I agree with you. I did go with Switzerland second.
Okay.
I got Serbia third, though. I don't have them last. I think Serbia's Mitrovic has had, I know it's the second division of England, but he has one of the best seasons I've seen in a while. He scored like damn near, like, let's just say 50 goals almost in one season. Like, he was ridiculous. And they have a couple good pieces around him. I just don't see them being bad enough to end up last. No disrespect to Cameroon. I just got Cameroon last, Serbia third, Switzerland second, Brazil undefeated first. That's just how it is for me.
All right. Hey, that's fair. That's fair. So now we move on to the last group. All right. So finishing off with Group H, we have Uruguay, we have Portugal, we have Ghana, and we have South Korea. Who do you got?
I'll say this. To me, not that we got to the last group, I don't think there's a group of death. But to me,
there isn't a group.
To me, this is like the most interesting group, right? there's a lot of things in here. South Korea probably will end up last, but I can
Okay.
see South Korea. I don't think it happens, but I could see them pulling off a 2018 part 2 where they'll become the team that eliminates Portugal, Uruguay. I would love it if they eliminate Portugal. I think you know why,
I
but
bet.
I don't think they will. I do think they'll last, but again, it's not like every other team blows them out the water. I think they make it really hard for everybody.
Yeah.
First place, I got Uruguay.
Okay.
It's just something about the way they defend is so tough to get through them. Yes, they're getting old, but I think this World Cup with the new coach, if they finally go, they've been doing it lately. They go, all right, Godin, your time's up, move out. Araujo, get in there with Jimenez. They have young, promising fullbacks. Their midfield is insane.
Yeah.
Bentancur, Nandes, Torreira, Valverde. You could pick whoever you want. You have your obvious starters up top, Suarez, Cavani, but you also have Darwin Nunez on the bench now. Like
Yeah.
it's a ridiculous team on the low.
Yeah.
It's
It
annoying.
is.
It's sometimes annoying to watch them because they're so defensive, but it works for them. It works for them, and
That's their style.
yeah, you can't say anything about it. It works for them. So I do have Uruguay first. I do have South Korea last. Second place. Are you ready for this?
Let's hear
Ghana will be third, and Portugal second. I think, and one of the interesting things here is I think about Uruguay, Ghana, 2006. Ghana, in literally the last minute, about to score a header, go in. Suarez says, with his handball. He gets a red card. Watches from the sidelines. They miss the penalty. Uruguay end up advancing in penalties. Ghana might come out for revenge. I don't think they get it, but it's going to be interesting. Portugal, Uruguay. Uruguay eliminated Portugal in the last World Cup. There's a couple of interesting factors there. And like I said, South Korea, everybody sleeps on them. They're the little giant killer. They proved the last World Cup, so it wouldn't shock me if they do it again. But I have it Uruguay, Portugal, Ghana, South Korea.
Okay. Well, to that, I will counter with I got Ghana last just because I don't. The team, when you compare it to that 2006 team, is different.
Oh, super.
You know what I mean? It's nowhere near at that level. I mean, hey, still props to them that they made it to the World Cup. However, I do think that it will be a short stay.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think they're last. I have obviously Portugal led by the GOAT himself, leading the group.
I see doesn't play for
Obviously.
Portugal.
No, I'm talking about like the actual GOAT, CR7.
Who?
So you'll see in the World Cup, you'll see. So Portugal first, right? I got Uruguay second, and I do have South Korea third. Yeah, I mean, honestly, South Korea and Ghana, I don't really see them winning any games.
I see them.
They could get a draw here and there.
Nah.
Maybe steal a couple points from Portugal or Uruguay. But no, I got Portugal and Uruguay advancing easily.
No, I got Uruguay and Portugal because one team's gonna win all three, the other team's gonna win two. And then I got Ghana, South Korea. The winner really, to me, gets their place. If they tie, I think the team obviously it becomes obvious now, but I do see it as like the team that allows least goals. And I think that team is Ghana.
Right. Okay.
Because I see it as Ghana, South Korea end up tying. They both end up with 1 point. But I see Ghana allowing less goals.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I got them third. So interesting. I think this is probably the only group that we have mixed up everywhere. So that's pretty interesting because we have completely different first, second, third, fourth. Like everything is mixed up.
All right. So you know what? So just to recap real quick. Group A, I have Ecuador, Netherlands in that order. You have
Netherlands, Ecuador.
All right. Group B, I have USA, England.
England, USA.
Group C, I have Argentina, Mexico.
Same.
Group D, I have France, Denmark.
France, Peru.
Group E, I have Spain, Germany.
Same.
Group F, I have Belgium, Canada.
I have Belgium, Croatia.
Group G, I have Brazil, Switzerland.
Same.
And we finish off with Group H, Portugal, Uruguay.
I got Uruguay, Portugal.
All right. I mean, we have a lot of the same. Most of them are the same, except
the only ones that we have complete, like
Croatia and Canada
and Peru,
Peru and Denmark.
Yeah,
and that's it.
Yeah,
and then other than that, we just have first and second place.
First and second mixed up, or we have the same fourth place, which is why I said that Group H is definitely like the most interesting group. It's not the group of death, but it's the most interesting group, and it shows in our predictions. Like I have it. If we're gonna recap real quick. I have it as Uruguay, Portugal, Ghana, South Korea. You have it, if I'm not mistaken, Portugal, Uruguay, South Korea, Ghana, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So we flipped our first and second, and we flipped our third and fourth. Yeah. So this is the only group that happened with. Every other group, we either have the same first, the same fourth, the same second, whatever. this is the only group that 1, 2, 3, and 4 would completely flip for us. So
Yeah, that's
again,
true.
I do think it's the most interesting group, and I'm excited, man. I'm so excited for this World Cup. You don't understand.
I know. It's gonna be
It's gonna be an
gonna be
interesting one.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yep, for sure.
And obviously, as we get closer to the World Cup, we'll go a little bit again, like I said in the beginning. Once we know squads, once we know injuries, God forbid, things like that. But we
Right.
could be like, yo, listen, I think, like you said, going back to Group A, I think Netherlands, I think go first because they beat Ecuador like this, whatever.
Yeah.
And then we probably start predicting, like you said, the brackets, like round of 16, quarterfinals, semifinals, all that. We could talk about our favorites to win it, our underdogs to win it.
Yeah.
And there's a couple more interesting things that I don't want to talk about yet, but that we're definitely going to do down the line. So please stay tuned. There's a lot more World Cup content coming up. But now, we talked about all the teams that made it.
Yeah.
Okay. There was a lot of big teams that did not make it. Now, I'm just going to mention a few of them. We're not going to go in depth as to why they didn't make it, how they didn't make it. Again, that could be for a later episode.
Yeah.
But some of the big teams that didn't make it: Italy, Colombia, Chile, Norway. I know they're not a big team, but they have a lot of big names.
Yep.
Ivory Coast, Sweden. There's so many teams. Austria. There's a lot of teams that did not make it, and you know, it's interesting because it happens every World Cup. Obviously, only 32 teams. There's so many teams out there competing. So many stars that, unfortunately, are the only star in their team. So then they don't make the World Cup.
Sadly,
so a lot of people say, "Oh my God, I can't believe this team didn't make the World Cup." Let's be real. You can't believe that player didn't make the World Cup.
Yeah.
So like you said earlier, we could do a starting 11, right, of players that are not going to the World Cup, but with a little twist. The only twist is our starting 11 can include only one player per country. So let's say, again, I mentioned Italy and Colombia. Once you pick an Italian or Colombian player in one position, you cannot pick another player from that country. It makes it a little bit more challenging.
Yes,
but I think
it was challenging. It was
challenging, but I think it made it a little bit more fun as well.
Yeah.
So you know what? Let's dive right into it. Let's get started. Right. I want to ask you first.
Okay.
What was your formation for your starting 11?
Okay, so my formation was no goalie. No, I'm kidding.
I was about to say, no wonder you didn't make the World Cup.
I'm kidding. So I got obviously my goalie, right? But I got 3 center backs.
Yeah.
I have 4 midfielders. Now they're not left mid, right mid. I have defensive mid, 2 center mids, 1 center attacking mid.
Interesting.
Yeah, and up top I have left wing, right wing, and striker. Yeah. Who do you got? What's your formation?
Well, my formation, I also have a goalie.
Oh, wow. That's a surprise.
Hey, listen, we're innovators, all right? Nobody knows what we're doing. I also have 3 center backs.
Okay.
Mine is kind of like a 3-1-4-2 per se.
Okay.
So I have 1 center defensive mid. I have 2 center mids in front of him with 2 wingers. Okay. Not really fullbacks. I'll say that they're not fullbacks. They're actual wingers because we attack out here. We don't worry about defending.
Right.
And 2 strikers.
Okay.
Yeah. But let's get straight into it.
Okay.
Now that we know our formations, let's start with goalie. Who do you got in goal?
Okay. So I'm going to have to go to Italy for this one. Okay. Trust me, I had a lot of choices between this Italian squad. They have a lot of great players. Their midfield is insane.
Listen, I can make half a team from like the best Italian players, so I agree.
Bro, yeah. So Italy was tough for me, but I feel like, again, if I'm building a squad, like we meant, like
this is your earlier. This is you, yeah.
You got to have a strong goalie. You have to. So I feel like out of all these teams that are out there, the best available goalie for me. I mean, there was a lot of close calls, but I feel like, at the end you have one, the number one for sure, which would be Donnarumma. So that's my goalie. Who do you got?
I went to Slovenia for this.
Okay.
I agree. I do think we need a strong goalkeeper. And although he had a down year, I would still pick him over Donnarumma. And that's Jan Oblak.
Okay.
I think Oblak is still, I know he had a bad year for his standards, at least. For any other goalkeeper, you're like, what a phenomenal year.
Right.
I still think he's one of the best goalies in the world. I would say top 3, top 5. Donnarumma is really good. I love him. But after what he did in this Champions League, man, I had to downgrade him a little bit. And like you said, there's just so many options from Italy that I figured there's one player that we'll get to later that I prefer over Donnarumma.
I think I have an idea who it is.
Find out. So I went with Jan Oblak.
Okay.
At right center back.
Okay.
I went with Soyuncu from Turkey. Not the best name, not the biggest
With
name.
who?
Soyuncu from Turkey. He plays for Leicester City.
No, I'm drawing a blank.
Disappointed in you. But, for people that watch the Premier League, people that
Is that the guy with like the semi-long hair?
Like
Okay,
little
okay,
ponytail here?
got it. Yeah, got it.
He's a really tall, strong, fast center back. Again, I know he's not the biggest name, especially when I tell you the rest of my team. But again, we can only pick one player per country.
Right.
And Turkey to me is not like a world-class team. No offense to any Turkish people out there, but they are a really good team. They are a really good team. And them missing the World Cup is kind of shocking to me. So I had to put somebody out there, and I think Soyuncu it's a perfect place to start in my defense on the right side. What about you?
Fair enough. All right. For my, let's say, my right center back, I have Alaba. I feel like Austria obviously they didn't make the World Cup, and you look at their team and there's obviously one player that you could literally say, okay, that guy is a top world-class player. Yeah. He just finished winning the Champions League.
Unfortunately.
He just finished winning the Champions League. He's a crucial player for Austria. He didn't play his best season for Real Madrid. He's still kind of getting to know everything going on in Real Madrid. But I think that was a no-brainer for me. I had to pick Alaba as one of my center backs.
That's fair.
My second center back, and the one that I would put right down the middle, you might be a little surprised with this one. I had to pick from Colombia, Davinson Sanchez.
Okay.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah. I had to go with him. Trust me, again, just like Italy, Colombia have a lot of good good players like Luis Diaz. James might be making a comeback. You have other midfielders there that are pretty good as well. Like
Borré had a good season.
Borré, yeah, exactly. He a champion. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have to, since I'm playing with three center backs, I have to have three solid center backs. So I was like, you know what? Let me go. Forget those offensive players. I picked other offensive players. So I had to go with Davinson Sanchez from Colombia. Who do you got?
My center back, my middle of the defense is a player in Slovakia now.
Okay.
And Milan Skriniar.
Okay.
Player from Inter Milan, a phenomenal center back, fast, tall, kind of Soyuncu, but I would say not much better. That's kind of respectful, but better. Skriniar is really, really good on the ball. He's really fast, really intelligent as a center back. I love him. I know there's been rumors of Barcelona and him for years, and every year I'm like, come on, make it happen now. So that's how much I like him.
Yeah.
So I just chose him. I think he's by far the best Slovakian player right now. So I went with him. I think he's a perfect leader for my center defense. On my left center back, I went with Alaba. He's fast enough to cover the whole wing for me. He's tall. He's agile. He's probably in this moment in time, I would say he's probably, unless I'm forgetting somebody, the best ball playing center back in the world. That's my left center back. I think that's a pretty solid back three. I hope you guys agree, but that's my back three. Yeah. So now I want you to tell me your left center back.
So my left center back is like your center back. I have Skriniar down there. So yeah, so fair finishing enough. Off, my three center backs is Alaba, Davinson Sanchez, and Skriniar.
And behind them you have Donnarumma.
And behind them I have Donnarumma.
Okay.
Yeah. So in front of those three center backs, I have my center defensive mid. Now, this center defensive mid comes out of Nigeria. And this man is a really good defensive mid out of Leicester City. Okay, Ndidi. I think there's a lot of midfielders that didn't make the World Cup that do kind of have that defensive mentality, and you'll see later on when I say my other midfielders. But out of all the midfielders, I feel like he would be a solid defensive mid for me. And again, looking at that team, that didn't make it, I'm like, okay, this is a clear, really good midfielder, starting caliber midfielder. So I was like, I can't pass up on that. So I have him as my defensive mid. Who you got?
My defensive mid is same league, Premier League.
Okay.
But different country, Czech Republic, and that is Souček. He has had a really good year next to Declan Rice. He's been consistent for West Ham for a few years, and it was hard. I also had Ndidi there. I was like, I don't know who to pick. I just went with Souček just because I think as a CDM, especially like I said, since I'm not playing any wingers,
right,
I feel like I could trust them to drop deeper into defense in case I need to change to a 4-back or whatever. Because again, Alaba could play left. I guess I could trust Yonku or Skriniar on the right side, things like that. So I thought about it a little bit more that way. But yes, I went with Zuchek. Now you have 2 center mids and a cam, you said, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. So let's go into our center mids, and then we'll talk your cam, and then we'll go into wingers, right?
All right, cool.
So my first center mid is a player from Ivory Coast.
Okay.
A player that's coming to Barca, baby.
Uh-huh.
We got the beast himself, Frank Kessié. That kid is a phenomenal player. I love what he brings to the team, to Milan, hopefully to Barca soon. I can't wait for the official announcement. Yeah, phenomenal player, really good with the ball, really good off the ball. Strong. It's almost impossible to beat him in strength. He's a rock.
Yeah, he
it's,
is.
It's funny.
Nice.
It's insane to me how big and strong he is, but how agile he is and how good he is on the ball. You know, he seems so delicate when he plays. So I really enjoy him. I hope he comes to Barca. I really, really do. I hope that deal does not collapse.
I hope it does.
Hey, you're getting Tchouaméni. Leave us alone. And yeah, I got him as my first center mid. Kind of playing more of like a box to box role. But yeah, and then my last center mid. This is where Italy comes into play.
Okay. Let me guess.
Now, I was gonna say, now let me ask you first. Is this what you guessed? Did you guess this position, or did you guess another position for Italy for me?
I did guess center mid,
All right,
and
talk to
I
me. Who do you think?
I think you're gonna say Jorginho.
Not even close.
It was between him and Verratti for me.
I'll tell you this. To me, it was between Verratti and Barella.
Okay.
I like Jorginho. I think he's good, but I think he's so overrated. Like, he doesn't do anything that stands out to me that I'm like, wow, what a player. You know, like, he's good, but he's not like a player that could control the game, a player that like runs up and down and can attack as well as he defends and has the vision. And this, he has good passing and good penalties. Like, I'm sorry, but that's all I see in Jorginho. Like, I don't really see much else. So to me, it was between Barella and Verratti. I love Barella. Oh, I love Barella. I think he's one of the best promising midfielders. I'll tell you this. I don't want Barca to let go of Frankie de Jong at all. I know we're getting off track here, but I'll say this real quick. If for some reason we unfortunately, stupidly let go of Frankie de Jong, his replacement better be Barella, because that kid is phenomenal and I love him. But I went with Verratti. I think he is one of the classiest midfielders I've seen in the last few years. You know, basically you could say Pirlo 2.0. He's so classy, so good on the ball, and he fights. He does. I think he's like 5'5", but he fights like he's 6'5". You know, you can't get past him easily. He wins the ball back cleanly most of the time. He's beautiful on the ball. He's one of my favorite midfielders. I'll say this. He's one of my favorite midfielders. I love watching him play. So I went with Verratti. I think having Zuchek behind him, Verratti more as a not really a stay back, but not really the number 10 role, just like also like a little box to box. That'll be phenomenal. But I know Verratti will stay more in the midfield. Kessie could push up the field. So I think my midfield is pretty good. I like it. But let's see what your finish is with. You have Ndidi and?
So I have Ndidi, and I have the captain of my team.
Ooh.
Out of Chile. I have a center midfielder in Vidal.
Fair.
Okay. I think you can rely on this man.
Yeah.
Okay. He is the captain of my team. You know, so, you know, I don't know if you're kind of noticing a little trend that I'm kind of going with my midfield, or at least my 2 center mids. Well, you know what? Let me tell you my other center mid, because I do agree with you in Kessié. Okay, I feel like that was a no-brainer from Ivory Coast. You know, he is a great player, great midfielder, young, strong. That man can do everything. So far I have my center defensive mid in Ndidi. I have my 2 center mids in Kessié and in Vidal. I think all 3 are great defensive mind midfielders. You know, they can defend. Their number one thing, I think, it would be defend. But if they needed to, they can also attack.
Yeah.
Okay. When the coach says, hey, look, I need you guys to push up a little bit, they'll be like, hey, no problem. Right. You know, again, being led by Kessié, you know, he has no problem with doing that. So those are my 2 center mids. All right. I think I have a nice midfield going on right here, and I will finish off with my attacking mid. Okay. He's from Sweden. Okay.
Okay.
I have Forsberg as my attacking mid.
That's fair.
All right. I feel like, again, I have 3 really good midfielders behind them. That is, you know, their main thing would be to defend, having a little bit Kessié helping Forsberg a bit. But I would have Forsberg there feeding balls to the guys up front. So I think that's why I picked him out of Sweden. Who you got?
Well, again, I'm playing with the
Oh, that's right. You got a different.
I got my center defensive mid, my two center mids in front, and then I got two wingers.
Right. Okay.
Again, they're not defensively minded. My wingers on the left side. This is where Colombia comes in. I got
Okay.
Luis Diaz. I could not pick any other Colombian. In this moment, I could not pick any other Colombian over Luis Diaz. Like, I love
I hear
Davinson.
you.
I really do. I love Davinson, but I love Uribe. I love Barrios, a name probably not many people know of. And Barrios to me over Davinson was kind of like the fight. I was like, ooh, do I want Barrios as my CDM? And then I could pick any other left wing. But I was like, we'll go with Luis Diaz. Like, I cannot bench him right now. So I got Luis Diaz on the left side. We don't need to talk about him anymore. We talked about him in episode 1. He's a phenomenal player, fast, agile, skillful, really smart, really hard to stop. I love him.
Yeah.
And the reason why I threw him out there confidently, one of the things I think he's learning in Liverpool is how to defend. He's being forced to track back. Hey, we lose that ball, you're getting it right back. You don't let your fullback in your midfield.
We saw that against Real Madrid.
Right. So I feel like I could trust him. I'm not saying he's going to be a fullback, but I know he could, come back to a certain point, and then Alaba and the midfield could deal with it. On the right side, I have probably my most creative player who could tuck into the midfield and play the cam role. Riyad Mahrez from Algeria.
Okay.
It was hard for me to pass him over. I was like, there's no shot I'm passing him over. He is one of my favorite players in the world. His first touch is arguably one of the best in the world right now. He is smart. He is fast. He is agile. He has a wicked left foot. His curves. Oh, phenomenal player. Phenomenal player. So those are my two wingers. Now, I only have two strikers left. You have your three up front, right?
Yeah.
So let's just finish your three up front, and then I'll finish my two strikers. Go for it.
All right, cool. So I got now my left wing and my right wing. They'll be, switching constantly. So I have down the left, I have Mahrez.
Okay.
Just like you were saying. So I do have Mahrez from Algeria. I think that was a no-brainer. Again, for me, it was between him and Luis Diaz, to be honest. Okay. But I decided to go with Mahrez is because I wanted to have more, again, a more stable defense, because I know that if I pass up on Luis Diaz, I'll still be able to recover that with Mahrez. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, he doesn't defend like as much as Luis Diaz is starting to do now. So I would kind of be lacking that, but I feel like that's why I have really strong center mids and that defensive mid that could pretty much cover for that. So I went with Mahrez down the left. Down the right, I mean, come on. I have his name on my back. He is from Egypt, Mohamed Salah. Okay, I think there's no way I was going to pass up on Salah. I did build this team around Salah because he was the first name that I put out. I was like, boom, that guy's my number one guy on the team. So I have Salah there, right? So I have Salah down the right. Again, like you said, there's really not much to be said about him. Salah on the right, you got on the left, you got Mahrez, constantly switching with him, and as my striker, the kid himself from Norway, Haaland. Honestly, there's nothing else to say. It is Haaland. He is the striker. That is it.
Player. Interesting. My first striker is Mohamed Salah. Okay. I know he's a winger. I get that, but he could easily play the striker role, especially with the team that he has behind him. He just needs the ball fed into him and he'll finish. I think it's pretty obvious why he's there. Arguably one of the best wingers, although right now I'm really not liking him. I think he's getting a little too cocky. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I don't know if he's, I don't know what it is. I really don't know what it is. He's always said he's humble, but he's not showing it right now. And it's kind of throwing me off a little bit, but the skill's there. One of the best players in the world right now.
Of course.
I believe he was the top goal scorer and top assist in the Premier League this season, which is, I know he was tied with Son for top goal scorer, but regardless, phenomenal. But yeah, he's my first striker. My second striker, at the end of the day, I just went with Haaland. I think my midfield is set. I think Haaland and Salah getting balls fed from Kessie, from Verratti, from Mahrez, from Luis Diaz is scary. It's scary.
It is.
So I went with Haaland as my second striker. But yeah, those are our teams. Fully complete. We have our team. Here they are, formation, everything. Let us know what you guys think.
All right. So now that we spoke about that, let's move on to the EOE. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Or the end of episode.
Mhm.
Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about what happened over this past week and a half. Okay, that we were able to witness two finals. So we could start with the Conference League final. Okay, in Roma and Feyenoord.
Yeah.
We both predicted that Rome would win, so we got that right.
Yes, we did.
However, the score line wasn't as we expected.
Completely off.
It was completely off. I did not expect it to just finish 1-0. However, I am happy for Mourinho, though. I think well deserved. You know, he is the special one for a reason. You know, and of course, I don't know if it's a Portuguese thing holding up that 5, just like Ronaldo did, so did Mourinho. But hey, it is what it is. Congrats to Roma. It, honestly, even though it was a 1-0, it was a good final to me. I thought it was a good final. It was back and forth. Feyenoord did not just sit back and defend. They were attacking. Roma, I thought they were going to defend a little bit more. They were actually attacking as well.
Yeah.
So I thought that was very interesting.
I thought it was a good game as well. I only managed to see the entire first half, and then I had to come home and watch the second half just to finish off because I had to go to work. But I managed to see the goal. You know, I managed to see the first half. I think the first half started off just like the Europa League, a little slow because they were kind of like, yo, we don't want to make mistakes. Like,
right.
Let's play smart. And then, you know, kind of opened up a little bit more. And the goal came in. I will say there's 2 things about Mourinho. One, I think he put up the number 5 because he's remember when PK did it to him when we beat you guys 5-0. I don't know. That's number 1. Number 2,
not that. I'm sure he wasn't thinking about Piqué or Barcelona when, while he had just crowned himself champion.
I think what it is, if I remember correctly, it's something about, I think he's won 5 finals in like his
every single final he's
every single final, and I think it's been 5 European finals. He's won them all. So that's impressive. Congrats to him. First coach to win all 3 competitions. He was already the first coach to make it to all 3 finals. Now he's the first coach to win all 3. But the person I'm happy for more than Mourinho is Zaniolo. He's the guy that scored a goal. The reason why I'm happy for him is because 2 years in a row he tore his ACL. Right, he was one of the most promising Italian players coming out. Probably at one point more promising than Chiesa, who is probably now the best young player they have.
Yeah.
But at one point he was probably bigger than him, and he was a starter for the national team. Everything. That he tore his ACL. Fine, he recovered, came back, tore his ACL again last season. Unfortunate for him, man, and it's so good to see him in a final scoring literally the game-winning goal because there was no other goal after that one. So I think he's the one I'm happy for. Like 2 ACL injuries, man. As a professional young player, that's not easy to bounce back from. Like we all know, obviously talking about different sport, but Derrick Rose coming up as one of the best players in the world, the youngest MVP in the NBA of all time, tore 1 ACL at the moment, never came back the same player, then eventually tore another one. But Zaniolo again, tearing both his ACL 2 times in 2 years, and then coming back, scoring a game-winning goal. I'm happy for him. Congrats to Roma. I agree. It wasn't a boring game. Once it was 1-0, when I left to work, I was like, oh, it's going to be so boring. I came home, watched the second half. Feyenoord should have tied, to be honest. They should have tied.
Yeah, I agree. I really thought they were. I thought they were going to do it like after minute 80.
Yeah. Luck just wasn't on their side that day. And, congrats to Roma. Congrats to Feyenoord as well, like I said, for making it.
Yeah.
But it was a really good final. But
it was.
The big boy, the Champions League final. Liverpool versus Madrid. We got to start off with this. It started off, first of all, like 30 minutes late because of everything that was happening with the fans and the cops and a whole fiasco, which honestly
into the game.
Yo, let me tell you, Wafer did not look good on that. I will say that Wafer did not look good at all.
Listen, I would have done the same thing. I would have tried my best to get in that game.
I would have pulled one of those. Hey, look, what's that? Boom, climb over. But yeah, no. Let's talk about the game itself. What was your reaction to it?
My reaction, well, to start off again, as you guys know, as I mentioned before, I am a fan of both. Liverpool is my favorite team out of England, and Real Madrid is my favorite team out of Spain. And so to watch them in the final go up against each other again, just like I did 4 years ago. 4 years ago, I was leaning more towards Real Madrid just because I love Cristiano Ronaldo. That's my guy. So I was leaning more towards Real Madrid. Now, again, it was a bittersweet feeling that I had because, even though Real Madrid won, I was sad that Liverpool lost. So now this time around, I was like, okay, all right, Ronaldo's not there anymore. We got Luis Diaz here. Liverpool is just playing amazing. We're going to get this revenge. all 100% on Liverpool side. And as you can tell, I have my Liverpool jersey on because I'm with them on the good days, on the bad days. Doesn't matter. I feel like we should have won that game.
Agreed.
But hey, man, like you said, your key player and your X factor came out big, man. Valverde came through, did that assist to Vinicius, and it is what it is, man. That's how they won. But it is a bittersweet feeling for sure. I mean, hey, congrats to Real Madrid, but it's still not a sad season for Liverpool. You know, we still became champions on two. We were able to lift up 2 cups, but still, the 2 biggest ones that we were fighting for, those are the ones that we lost. But hey, it is what it is, man. That's how football is. It happens.
It's crazy to me. You lost both titles by 1 goal.
Man,
think about it. If City Aston Villa ended 2-2, you're Premier League champs.
Yep.
And ended 3-2, you're not Premier League champs. And now against Real Madrid, you lose 1-0.
I thought it ended 4-2.
No, 3-2.
Oh yeah, it was a hat trick by no, it wasn't a hat trick.
It was Gundogan.
It was Gundogan with 2. Yeah. Regardless,
so, listen, that game started off hot for Liverpool. I was like, yo, Liverpool's gonna score at least twice. But Courtois, like I said, yes, I was right about Valverde and Vinny. I will say this: I do think Valverde's assist was more of a shot. Like he tried to shoot.
I think so too.
And it ended up being a terrible shot that fell to Vinicius. Trent was he was off his game, and in that moment he looked terrible. Like he never checked his shoulder to see where Vinicius
Nothing. Not once did he look back. Not once.
And that's what I was saying when we mentioned the key players, why Vinicius is so key. It forces Trent to now actually defend. Like Trent is so comfortable with pushing up. He doesn't really always have to worry about defending. Now he had to. And at the one moment that he should have, he did it.
To be honest, I really thought that Van Dijk locking down Benzema, which I feel like he did.
Oh, absolutely.
I thought that was gonna win Liverpool the game, but sadly, like you said, that Vinicius and Trent, they were like literally, even the commentators, they were saying that they were playing chess. It's like they're trying to figure each other out, and sadly, it all came down to those 2 players.
Yeah, listen, I agree. You said Van Dijk was gonna be key to stop Benzema. He stopped Benzema. I think Benzema didn't have a single shot on target. Yes, he scored that goal that was offside, but I don't think he had a shot on target, which is. I think Benzema, this would be one of, if not the worst game I've seen him play all season.
Yeah.
And it's not to say he's not a big game player because we know he is. It's just Van Dijk had a really good club and Van Dijk had a really good plan for him. Yeah. They didn't let him do anything.
No, to be honest, like you look at the game and you're like if you were to bring a random person from the street that doesn't know anything about soccer, and I'm like, look, you see that number 9? He is the best player in the world right now. They'll probably be like, well, he's not playing like the best player right now.
Yeah.
Like the best player in the world, he's not doing that right now.
And that comes from Van Dijk and club. They had the perfect setup for him. I'm telling you, I think Benzema touched the ball 20 times. Yeah. Not a single shot on target. Like it was insane. I was like, wow, they really locked him down. And yes, Valverde, like I said, yes, got the assist, but I do think it was a bad shot that ended up being an assist. Vinicius got the goal. Yeah. But remember, I don't know if you remember when I said my number 1 was always Vinicius, but my number 2 was either Valverde or Courtois. And Courtois, man, I say he's the reason you guys won. Yes, Vinicius scored a goal. Yes, Trent should have defended better, but Courtois, bro, what a game. Like, he's already had a great season.
Yeah.
To end it in that style, that save in the first half from Mane.
Yeah.
Out of this world. Out of this world. It was insane. Like, he's already moving to his left and then dives, saves. And then in the second half, a couple good big saves. I think Courtois was by far the best player in the game. He's the reason why Real Madrid won.
Didn't he win man of the match? He won the man of the match.
I think he won man of the match. Yeah. He should have. I'll tell you this. Even if he didn't, he should have. And it's unfortunate, man. For me, obviously, as being a Barcelona fan, seeing Real Madrid win again, it's like, ugh.
Listen, but you know what? Most importantly, though, and I think this is probably the best takeaway from this is that Cristiano Ronaldo still has his record. So
that is true. Benzema was at one moment 1 goal away, and then they ruled it out for offside.
Yeah, that had me scared. I was like, oh, no.
I knew if he would have scored that, I knew he would have broken it. If he would have scored, I was like, that's it. Benzema's gonna break it.
Yeah.
But 1-0. Interesting to me that all 3 finals were low scoring. The Europa League ended 1-1, the Conference League 1-0, and this one 1-0 as well. There's a third year in a row the Champions League final ends up 1-0.
Yep.
PSG beat Bayern beat PSG 1-0, Kingsley Coman in the pandemic year in 2020. Last year, 2021, Havertz scored for Chelsea 1-0 against City. And then this year, Vinny
Yeah.
Scores against Liverpool, 1-0 for Real Madrid. It's insane. Now people hear that and they think, oh, that was such a boring game. I'll tell you this, it wasn't the most entertaining game in the sense that, like, was it like the best game that I'm like, wow, like, was it a Madrid City first leg? No, absolutely
Yeah.
not. To me, this was more like a Madrid City second leg. Like, it started off like okay, then Liverpool went crazy in the attack, and I was like, that's it. They got the momentum. Second half again started off a little slow, then Liverpool got on it. Real Madrid scored. Liverpool tried to keep going. So it was a lot of Liverpool. I'll say that. Liverpool was on it all 90 minutes, basically. Real Madrid was more Ancelotti, tactically smart, tactically set up. Like, we scored a goal, now we're gonna make sure they don't score again.
Yep.
They're scoring us. I'm sorry. So it wasn't boring at all, but it wasn't the most entertaining. But I will say this: it was a better final, in my opinion, than last year's. Last year's was actually kind of boring.
Oh yeah, forget.
So, but I do think the better team lost this time. I do think that. I think
Yeah,
Liverpool were the better team.
I think so too.
I
And I feel bad. I feel bad for Mo Salah because he really wanted that revenge.
And
He really wanted.
He ain't do nothing the whole game.
Honestly, yeah, that had
terrible.
me mad. That had me mad. But regardless, I would have loved to see him score and do that. You know, a revenge, lift up the cup. That would have been awesome. But yeah, I was not pleased with the way he played. I was not pleased.
I know they took off Luis Diaz because yes, he wasn't having his best game, and on top of that, he was hurt. But I would have taken out Salah, man. Salah for me would have been gone a while ago. Yeah, listen, I'm not Klopp. I can't say anything. Klopp knows better than I do. Obviously, he's the reason why he's there. Again, you could argue the better team did win, though, when you say, Ancelotti had the perfect game plan, which he did.
Right.
But to me, as a neutral watching, like, I think the better team lost, and it's unfortunate. But things happen. That's the beautiful game. Anything can happen. Now we wait for next season's Champions League edition, where Barca will be in it again, and hopefully they can stay longer than this time.
Yeah, let's see. All right. So now, with that being said, I think we're good for today, bro. You got anything else? Any final words?
I will say this, I know we kind of kept it all soccer themed related today.
Yeah.
I want to kind of spice it up a little bit, I guess you could say. One thing I want to add, I'm from New York, so I just want to shout out my Rangers. Hockey, a complete sport that we haven't talked about at all yet.
Yes, that's right.
But it's a sport that I won't say I'm like the hugest fan of. Like, I don't know it by heart or anything, but I do follow it well. If I know some of the rules, I know the players, things like that. And the Rangers, man, they beat the Pittsburgh Penguins last round in the 7-game series after being down 3-1 in the series.
Ooh.
And now this series against the Carolina Hurricanes, they were down 2-0. Then they tied it 2-2, then down 3-2, and now 2 straight elimination game again. They beat them. So 5 elimination games for the Rangers, 5 dubs. They are moving on to the Eastern Conference Final against the Tampa Bay Lightning, and the winner of that series goes to the Stanley Cup. Hopefully, it's the Rangers, man. It'll be great to see them. So I just wanted to shout them out real quick.
Nice.
Go Rangers, baby.
I like it. Let's go Rangers.
Let's get it. But after that, do you have anything to say?
No, man. I got nothing else to say. I have this Liverpool jersey on for a reason. Love you guys.
I have Argentina because we were talking
year,
about the World Cup. And Messi's the GOAT. And it's I love this jersey. It's so old school and so like clean.
It is old school.
So
I like
nice.
It. It's nice. It's
nice. I love it. So I just had to rock it real quick. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, no doubt. All right, guys. See you guys next week.
Hope you guys enjoyed. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow. Peace,
sir. Peace.